Have you ever wondered what animation masterpiece could have been created if China and Japan had worked together? Well, that just became a reality with this show entitled To Be Hero X. But what is it about? Where can we watch it? Who is who? In this video, I'll try to guide you in getting started with this series. And if ever you're already a fan of the series, I'll be sharing some information and trivia that you might not be aware of. So, without further ado, let's start with the basics. To Be Hero X is an animated series that is jointly produced by Bilibili, B-Dream, and Aniplex. Its music, theme songs, and series composition are mainly handled by Japanese artists, including the famous Sawano Hiroyuki. The animation studios which handled it are PB Animation, Paperplane, and Studio Lan. Yes, it's a collaboration between Chinese and Japanese companies. People can watch this series in different platforms. The main platform for the Chinese version is on Bilibili, while most of the dubs are available in Crunchyroll. Although the original language of this series is in Chinese, its Japanese dub is quite popular, and I think it's because of its stellar cast. But unlike other animated series from China or donghua, its dubbed versions are simultaneously released along the original dub. A new episode is released every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. in China Standard Time or 8 hours after UTC time. It will have a total of 24 episodes, which started on April 6 and will end on September 14, 2025. By the way, this show is not based on a comic, nor a novel, nor a game. Yes, it's an original series, so don't bother looking for any source material to know the story in advance. To Be Hero X is the latest installment of the To Be Hero anthology franchise, which is created and directed by Li Haolin. Although these three titles share the same superhero theme, To Be Hero X is not directly related to its predecessors, To Be Hero and To Be Heroine. So yes, they're not exactly prequels, so it's fine if you don't watch these two before watching To Be Hero X. And in my opinion, To Be Hero X has more similarities to director Lee's other creation, which is entitled Link Click. So, if you're already a Link Click fan, it's almost a guarantee that you will end up loving To Be Hero X as well. It also has a charming cast, and unfortunately, it also has those killer cliffhangers. And yep, the same trauma too. Oh, I could talk more about their similarities, but I will save those in another video, I guess. For the time being, I will just talk about some of those similarities through YouTube community posts. To Be Hero X isn't animated in just 2D or in just 3D form. It actually uses both forms. The first two arcs are mainly in 3D, but we see the animation transition to 2D style during certain moments in the story. But starting on the third arc, the episodes will mostly be in 2D. But even in 2D, they may be illustrated in different styles too. The main genres in To Be Hero X are fantasy and action. But as you watch the show, you will see that it also covers many other genres like comedy, sci fi, mystery, suspense, romance, slice of life, drama, and tragedy. And although this show has plenty of lighthearted and wholesome moments, it also covers a lot of dark themes. I'm not sure if it could be classified as gore, but there is indeed a lot of violence and bloodshed. Not all of its horrors are obvious on the surface. It could even be hidden in plain sight, and they can really give you the chills once you notice them. And yes, many of the disturbing elements in this series are more on the psychological side. To Be Hero X is not limited to the superhero and pop culture themes. It also covers many other topics such as idolism, religion, politics, capitalism, and showbiz. That's to name a few. Mainly the dark side of those things. Yes, this series is really dark. Very dark. Its world might appear like a utopia on the surface, but it's actually in a dystopian setting. To Be Hero X is set in a world where anyone can gain superpowers and become a hero if there are people who trust in them. The trust which people place in heroes are collected and quantified, and these trust values are reflected on one's wrist. The higher the trust value or trust points, the higher the ranking. And top ranking heroes can reside in this floating building called the Hero Tower. But every 2 years, the top heroes gather to compete in a tournament, and the number one hero is honored with the title X. The To Be Hero X universe doesn't exactly make use of the Gregorian or Julian calendar like we do in the real world. They count the number of years differently, but it is similar to how our calendar works. You see, in our world, the To Be Hero X series was released in year 2025 AD. Right? How that year is counted is based on the BC AD counting system. To non Christians, it's just the same as the BCE CE system. The modern times are set in the Common Era, or the year after the birth of Jesus Christ. It's a similar counting system in the world of To Be Hero X. But instead of Anno Domini, they use the term after commission. The director has somewhat explained what the commission is about in an interview. It is related to the big companies managing the heroes, which I will elaborate later. The story of To Be Hero X isn't narrated in chronological order. The first arc is actually based on the most recent events, and it is set 41 years after commission. Then the succeeding arc is set 36 years after commission. Notice how it's going backwards now? The sequence of events is a little hard to follow, I know, but thankfully, the official Japanese website has created this timeline to help us keep track somehow. Viewers have different opinions about the pacing of the first arc. Some are okay with its fast pacing, while some are not happy about it. But the pacing is going to be different for each arc, and that's intentional. Despite its varied pacing, the series will slowly explain the recent events by revealing what happened in the past bit by bit. This should help us put everything and everyone together somehow at a later time. Yes, this also means that characters from previous arcs may show up again later. And of course, the protagonists of future arcs may debut earlier too. In the present storyline, these are the top 10 heroes. They are quite a lot to remember, I know, but it should be easier to remember them as we go through each of their respective arcs. You see, To Be Hero X is not going to focus on the story of a single main protagonist, but it will actually be divided into multiple arcs, each featuring a different hero. The number of episodes for each arc varies. The first arc has 4 episodes, while the rest have either 3 or 2 or just 1 episode. Like other shows with multiple protagonists, each of their stories are actually connected. The main or central protagonist of To Be Hero X as a whole is not clearly defined. Not yet, at least. Well, I've got some theories, but I'll save those thoughts in another video, maybe. Anyway, it's actually quite easy to remember the names of the top 10 heroes for the international audience since most of the hero names are in English. Let's try to quickly go through each of them, starting from the lowest in rank. Hero number 10 is called Nice. He looks as perfect as a K-pop idol, and his costume would remind you of popular Western superheroes. Number 9 is called Iso, who wears a costume like those Sentai heroes. Number 8 is Ahu, and is literally a dog. Though based on his promo video, it looks like Ahu could also possess a human or human-like body. The number 7 is a popular musician and idol called Lucky Sian, while number 6 is a masked girl with a bat called Loli. Number 5 is this guy, who seems to be some animal tamer with animal characteristics, and he is called the Johnnies with the duh. Not sure why. At number 4 is Ghostblade, and he looks like an assassin with a very, very dark past. At number 3, we've got Dragon Boy, and he looks, pretty wild. And number 2, who is like a queen, is literally called Queen. I assume she represents medieval heroes. And at number 1 on the throne is X, who appears to be omnipotent with his ability to switch reality to fiction and vice versa whenever he pleases by just snapping his fingers. Director Lee had revealed that if people put their trust on only one hero, that hero can become a god. It seems that there has been a disaster which involved the god. So, to prevent that from happening again, the commission was established to manage the different heroes and maintain the balance. And so, the different companies, which are somewhat like entertainment companies that manage celebrities in the real world, are the following. First, there's Treeman, which manages Nice. Then there's Mighty Glory, or MG, which manages these three. DOS manages this other three, while FOMO is in charge of these two. X is the only hero among the top 10 who isn't affiliated with any of these companies. The top executives of each company were actually featured in the opening team. They might not have superpowers, but they are intimidatingly powerful in their own way. So, once you have joined the To Be Hero X fandom or had enjoyed this video somehow, it will be nice if you click the like button. That always motivates me to create more content like this. But oh, before we end this video, here's a bonus trivia. When you saw the top 10 heroes, have you also noticed that 4 of them have white hair? Because of that, Director Lee was sort of accused of liking white haired characters too much. He denied it, but added that he thinks white hair looks cool. Yeah, right. Whatever you say, Mr. Lee. Anyway, thanks for watching and hope to see you again. Take care.